I just came from a home visit with a mom who was told to feed her baby every 3 hours, and she was very concerned because he seemed hungry after like 30 minutes. Should she keep feeding her baby, or should she stick to the timeline? Welcome to our series on some of the worst advice mothers have been given about breastfeeding that actually ends up reducing their milk supply, making their babies lose weight, and them quitting breastfeeding early, feeling like they're failures when they're not. They were just given horrible advice. We're here to fix it. So today we're breaking down one of the most supply-destroying pieces of advice given to mothers, rigid feeding schedules, and what to do instead. I'm Jess. I'm a board-certified lactation consultant and a postpartum specialist, and for the last 5 years I have been guiding mothers through the first year so that they can breastfeed with confidence, build a strong body, and actually enjoy the first year of motherhood, not just trudge through it. I've worked with countless mothers who were told to feed on a schedule, stick to the schedule no matter what. This advice treats breastfeeding like it's formula feeding, and it completely neglects the natural feeding pattern of a child as well as the relationship of breast milk to baby. Here's what happens when we force feeding schedules. Our supply is going to drop because our body interprets less frequent removal as a sign that, hey, we don't need to make so much milk. Our baby won't gain weight because when we make our baby stick to a feeding schedule, we're ignoring their natural hunger cues. Going too long between feeds causes milk to back up, and it leads to painful complications. We end up engorged with plug ducts or even mastitis. So why are moms being told to feed their baby every 3 hours and stick to it? Where'd this advice even come from? Well, this advice was started for hospital practices of formula feeding. There was a nursery, and they had so many babies, and they needed to make sure these babies got fed, they got fed on time, and so they created a schedule, a feeding schedule, to ensure that every child in that nursery got food. But we have taken this hospital practice and applied it to the breastfeeding relationship, which sets them up to fail. And because it's a totally different context, and it's a totally different type of food as well. It sets us up to end up needing formula. A lot of healthcare providers aren't adequately trained in lactation support. I've even had some doctors that I work with let me know that they got maybe 30 minutes of lactation education when they were going through med school, and that anything else that they have learned has been them teaching themselves. Oftentimes, when someone is not educated on the human milk lactation relationship, we often default to formula feeding advice, like the timing of how much a child should get and when, because it also feels more measurable and it's controllable, and we love control. I love control. Many also are not taught how much more quickly breast milk gets digested versus formula, which is pivotal in those first few days to keep jaundice away. It's why we want babies on breast milk, because it passes through their system quickly, gets rid of that poop, keeps the jaundice away. It is common to misunderstand infant needs. Newborns need to feed 8 to 12 times per day, not every 3 hours strictly. It's the frequency of food. They need 8 to 12 times, which if we then divide it, nicely fits into 2 to 3 hours. So this is a rule of thumb, right? We don't want babies going more than 3 hours without food, because that means they're not eating 8 to 12 times. But we get caught up on the 2 to 3 hours, and that can make moms feel like they have to stick to a schedule. Like, oh, it hasn't been 2 hours yet, you shouldn't eat yet. Or, oh, it hasn't been 3 hours yet, why are they showing me that they're hungry? Do I not make enough milk? How do we fix this? We follow our baby's cues. Babies are excellent communicators, and your baby and your body are perfectly designed to communicate about feedings. So instead of watching the clock and timing out the feeds, let's watch the baby and let's feel our body. When you start to see them have any kind of feeding cue, like licking their lips or turning their head side to side or sticking their tongue out or trying to like root, these are signs that they're hungry, they're looking for food, they want to eat. If they get to crying, that's a late stage cue and they have been hungry for a while. Feel your breast as well. If your breasts start to feel full, you need to get milk out. Don't wait until there's a certain amount of time. It's the minute you start to feel this, respond to it. The minute you start to see them do these things, respond to it. Typically, feedings fall between 1.5 hours to 3 hours, not rigidly every 3 hours. And trust your body and your baby. They're meant to work together. So yes, we don't want 3 hours to pass before you feed, but if you fed your baby and they seem like they're showing signs of hunger again 30 minutes later, go ahead and feed them. They're communicating with your body and they're growing. And babies also go through something called a growth spurt, which leads them to do like constant feeding. They are in this cluster feeding stage where it's like, I just fed you, how are you hungry again? They're tapping into our milk supply and telling our body, make more milk for me. And they're putting on weight. This is a big growth spurt for them. And it's also a big mental growth spurt for them as well. Supplying them with milk, responding to their needs. We're not just filling their body, but we're building a strong brain for them and a strong sense of identity in this world and telling them, I see you, I hear you, I respond to you. Now there's other common tips and advice that mothers have been given that actually work against their body's natural system, and knowing them can prevent so much pain, so much trauma, so many tears, and wasted time. I've created a free 5-day course that goes through the biggest mistakes we make when we're trying to boost our milk supply and what to do instead. You can click it below, sign up. I look forward to see you. Love ya. Hope it helps. Love ya. See ya, pizza.